Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the perfect 2016 World Team Table Tennis Championships in Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia. I'm Adam Babra, with me Michael Anderson, and we are getting into the third singles, and it could be the last match of this overall team match, Michael.
Yeah, you never know in team events, but they obviously put themselves in a position to win. Now Germany relatively quickly here by two strong performances. Sabine Winter first setting it up, and then Patricia Sola, actually no discussion against Yang Aoun. She was clearly the better player. And now they throw in Irene IVANCAN. And she's a fighter though, most of all. And that's good to have in a team, 32 years of age. Been around, defensive player. But I see most of this is a hard-working, grinding kind of defensive player. Not, you know, the nice execution and nice technical skills. Of course, she has skills to be on that level, playing on that level, but overall, she's a fighter. Absolutely. She's got the short pips on the backhand side, and IVANCAN is fascinating to watch. She's like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're going to get. The backhand or forehand side, she can loop, she can punch, she can chop, side spin. I mean, really just such a varying game, and she's quite threatening right at the back of the table. She's one of the modern defensive players who's got the strong forehand attack. I mean, is just really prepared to do anything she has to win the points. Okay. And at 32 years old, she's world ranked number 44. And in this matchup, the last time they played was at the World Championships 2015, and it was a 4-3 victory for IVANCAN. I think we're going to get to see a lot of side spin from the backhand on some of the chops and pushes and even receives of IVANCAN. There's a little bit of side spin to start on that receive. The PARK Youngsook, very steady in her counter loop. Now, as far as wisdom and experience goes, I feel like not just creatively, but IVANCAN is a very intelligent person. Strong setup, third ball attack. I mean, talking to her off the court, you can see how smart she is. She's really an innovator. But I feel like table tennis is definitely a thinker's sport. You've got the physical and you've got the creative. How can I fool my opponent? How can I outthink them and set them up? Especially if you're a defender, perhaps. You have to figure out your opponent. This is a special breed. Look at it. How many young players today are starting to play defense? Most of it was the quick things happening all the time. You know, you have to be a defender. You have to take the complete reverse position in table tennis and really get hammered as a young player and live with that, and then grind yourself and physicality and everything. So, right. I don't know. Yeah, I'm trying to think of where we see the young defenders. Don't see quite as many, it feels like. Do you have any in the U.S. at all? Angela Guan, top defender in the U.S. That's it, on the women's side. Yeah, and she's actually, I'd say, the most improved player in the last 6 months to a year in the U.S. on the women's side of the game. She's probably watching right now. She watches every ITTF match because there's so much to learn watching the best in the world play out here under pressure. And this is the biggest tournament of the year outside of the Olympics for these players. Really trying to bring it home for their country. Fault is called.
More quickly. Ball 3.
No warning? That was a strange thing. She called the freehand removal on the backhand serve. I don't know how that would be. It's extremely rare. I never heard that one before, actually. Kind of funny. It's interesting. I think some people they find interesting ways. You know, some players have told me that Natalia Partika, despite not having a lower half of her arm, her right arm, still hides the ball a bit when she serves sometimes. You can understand why an umpire would feel a little bit hesitant to make that call. That was a bold way, just catching the ball. Usually you wait for the umpire. We've seen a few unusual interactions here so far with the umpires and players. And there's that side spin receive, side and under from the short pips. I don't like the quality of that receive. You know, she knew exactly also where she was going, where Park was going after the serve, so she was put in there from a tactical sense.
You know, watching IVANCAN play, I really don't know how this match is going to finish. And even though I favor IVANCAN, I just imagine she would win it. I'm not sure quite how she's going to end up doing it.
We just have to wait and see.
Yeah. That's the true excitement, right? The suspense where if you know what's going to happen, it's not that interesting. But here, again, Park Youngsook, a lot less exposure than her two teammates, Yang Haun and Seo-Hwan, to the international tournaments. But she's 27 years old, and she's chosen for a reason to be here. Handles the side spin well this time, gives a perfect read and touches it back. I think this is something sometimes players will put a lot of side spin on the ball, and if you can touch it and leave it, just give it back to them, they end up eating that side spin and become victim of their own spin. Fishing shot falls short. And that's credit to Park Youngsook for spinning it, keeping it low down near the ground. IVANCAN having to play it from out in front.
Clever service placement also there. She forced IVANCAN to go in with her forehand first. She likes to go with her backhand in her setup for defense, so she found the right spot.
Don't expect to see too many rallies ending this way, but this is the threat of IVANCAN's forehand attack, an attack on both sides that puts the pressure on Park to really keep it low. The simple touch shots are actually not so simple. And even though she missed that shot, I expect Park Youngsook to be doing this a little bit more, some inside-out attacks with the forehand. The advantage of being a left-handed player in this position. Yeah, it didn't seem like the right ball. Wasn't deep enough to the backhand. A little bit in the middle. Didn't quite have the angular setup that Park wanted. Several times we've seen that happen now, where the balls just bit the table, stayed low, and Park has hit the bottom of the racket, hitting the edge and finding the bottom of the net.
That was a burn in the ball there, and really underspin. Smoke coming out.
Yeah. Surprised the fire alarm didn't go off. Varying up the spins. A floating one, a little bit long, not as much rotation, and Park overlifts. Despite being down a few points ago, IVANCAN now with 2 game points. Awkward side spin ball, a little bit of top spin on it as well, and IVANCAN 11-8 with a clutch first game in this match, which could be the decider. We'll see. Back for game 2 after this short break.
또 리시브 할 때는 이렇게 들어가서 마지막에 이렇게 공을 좀 잘한다. 이렇게 그냥
Back for game 2, Irene IVANCAN takes game 1. Going to start off with the serve. Now, one thing to mention, it should be pretty clear from the screen, but IVANCAN is quite tall in stature. Nearly 6 feet, at 180 centimeters, 183, somewhere in there. And with that, it means she has a bigger middle. We saw some trouble Seo-won trying to cover the middle when Sabina Winter was hitting well the first 2 games. In the second half of Game 5, what a memorable performance from the young Sabina Winter.
I mean, she also uses her forehand toss being smart enough to cover, and that means she covers nearly 75% of the table with her backhand, and then she's very good in reading when that ball is coming. So, as you said, I mean, there's a sort of smartness of her game also, quite impressive. And you know, she came back from 6-8 to win 11-8. That was really, you know, 4-5 well-played points.
3-1.
I think Park's going to have to do a little bit of what Sabina Winter did and sort of spin the ball softly here and there. But she's going to have to get IVANCAN far from the table first for it to earn a popped-up ball. I think that was the right idea. Tough start to the point after that big attack came into the body from the backhand of IVANCAN. You might recall that one real quality loop to the backhand early on in the match where Park spun it low to the net and IVANCAN had to play it from out in front. I think more of those would be quite helpful. There's what the short pips are good for. Wingspan as well, IVANCAN right in at the table.
Look at grip and technique and so on from Park. It's like this kind of forehand that you almost know that it's going to go diagonal most of the time. She has that grip of her racket, a little bit of a backhand grip that goes across so easy. So against the defender here, that's a little bit of an advantage in my opinion. She has a trouble going down the line exactly like that, where you have to open up the racket a little bit and get that touch on the ball. So I think IVANCAN, she can read that very well. She let her start from the forehand side. You're going to have most of the time cross. If she tries to go middle down the line, there's a higher risk in Park's game. Smart no spin there also, just floating the ball over.
Right, another advantage of the short pips, being able to control the spin, vary the spin yourself. That forehand has been so powerful, and it's a very versatile forehand, much like the backhand of Solja. IVANCAN doesn't mind getting low, and even at that height, really gets her legs into the ball from the back of the table. Sometimes she'll spin it up. That one just high enough for her to power through. Look at the score right now, Michael. 8-1 for IVANCAN. Just overdoing it on the fist shot from the forehand side. Score-wise, this reminds me a little bit of Sabina Winter and Seo-won. The first 2 games went the way of the German player. Beautiful spin shot. That's the variation. The first time I saw IVANCAN play in person was at the World Championships 2 years ago in Tokyo, and she did this so well. Sometimes high arcing, sometimes low to the net. Power spin. And there it is, short side of the table. A little bit riskier shot from Park. And I like what she's doing there with the shoulders. A little bit difficult to predict until she hit that ball. It looked like she was maybe going to keep it to the backhand. Quite difficult to fool IVANCAN.
9-3.
Speaking of fooled, the trick is turned around and Park is fooled with that serve. And now 7 game points for Irene IVANCAN of Germany.
10-3. Let.
Yeah, I was just trying to imagine the hand covering the ball in that backhand serve.
Let. 10-3.
There it is, deep low chop. And that's all it takes. IVANCAN 11-3. A dominant performance comes into game 3 with a huge advantage in momentum here. We'll be back for game 3. Could be the last just after this.
이렇게 생각하고 지금 뭐 배우가 하나도 없잖아. 계속 보스카트 말고 그리고 자 얘가 이거 오지 그냥 백다리 걸어 안 맞으면 그리고 수업시 이렇게 놓는 거 있지 좀 흘러나오는 거 좀 이렇게 하나씩 하고 해주는 거 오르면은 그냥 걸리기도 하고 그냥 마음 편하게 해봐요. 어? 하고 싶은 대로 해봐. 하고 싶은 대로.
Third game, back to serve, bravo.
We're back for game 3. Park Youngsook now with the serve down 0-2, and really in some hot water here.
1 love.
A strong start. We haven't seen too many short points in the favor of Park Youngsook. And it wasn't an overly greedy or ambitious shot. It was a nice stable loop. That's the commitment I expected to see. With a left-handed player like Park Youngsook, if you put it deep into the backhand and she can step around, it's going to be difficult to keep in play.
Yeah, there's no doubt about that. She has to take. Like, my feeling is that though you have to go against a defender of this quality, you have to show her also some power from the first shots, because otherwise it's a completely different ball game. Because if you start like she's been doing, pretty predictable pace and slow and so on, it's just they get into the rhythm, they put quality on the first ball, and then like the control over the rally just shifts. You got to keep that. You're the one initiating, although you may not go for a strong power all the time. You show the defender that I'm deciding the outcome of the rallies.
It's been some trouble for IVANCAN here. I think the quality of shot coming at her now, as you mentioned, Park is really taking control of the rallies. Seems a lot more decisive in her shots. Seems to be thinking about the points as more of a whole. Yeah, I guess less individual shots and more setting up every shot. And it looked like she was caught off guard by that one bounce at the very back of the table, but Park had a quick reaction to keep the ball in play.
Interesting, also a long fast service to forehand, so there's something going on here with her game. But overall, we had also both the other Koreans starting very slow in their matches, actually losing big time in the opening game, and as she did here, without any contest really. So apparently they're trying to ease themselves into this match, and I don't think it's going to be good enough. But obviously in this game 3 here, she has built a lead.
There we go, the forehand attack down the short side of the table. IVANCAN's bread and butter, I'd say that forehand attack has been very successful throughout the match so far, at least until the start of game 3. I think the pressure that Park is putting on IVANCAN is just getting much stronger, more quality spin shots. She's trying to hit the body here. It's making IVANCAN uncomfortable to get some of these shots back on. You can see she was a little off balance there, shuffling the feet to get out of the way. A down the line serve to the backhand, haven't seen that yet.
little more release in her wrist action, also a little bit looser, you know, get more spin and more action in the racket.
Yeah, there was some talk about that yesterday with the grip tape on her handle.
Oh.
Look at that ball. Sort of getting it at the very edge of the racket on the forehand side, boomeranging it back up onto the table. Look how low she kept that. I mean, from that angle, you could see what a quality shot that was. That's some feeling. And talk about a turnaround. Lost last game 11-3 and has 8 game points to take this 11-2 her way. Short rally's not enough time for conversation, Michael. Park Youngsook means business. We'll be back for game 4. Match continues just after this. We're back for game 4, and what a mysterious turn of events, a plot twist here halfway through the match. After being crushed in game 2, Park Youngsook turns it around and really just punishes IVANCAN 11-2. The effect still seems to be there. Now there's been a little talk about humidity. Malaysia, beautiful country, tropical. We've got some humidity. It's been raining outside on and off over the days. Smart play coming in to use the short pips in the backhand. Really put some pressure on. Remind Park that she can't have such an easy time leaving the ball high. It's shots like that that earn a lot of net balls in the pushing game from Park in the future, because she's going to have to try to keep them lower.
Well read. I mean, she's been she used in the beginning of the third game this long fast service to forehand, and now she's ready. She just opened it up instead of playing a defensive shot on that serve.
And that's the IVANCAN that I remember. Spinning the ball, getting low, playing like a traditional forehand attacker.
Getting a little bit more relaxed Park though, because in the beginning, you know, that was a very stiff shot down the line. She had unbelievable percentage of errors on exactly that shot in the beginning. Now loosening up a little bit and getting in a better contact.
The body language from IVANCAN, trying to watch the self-coaching here. This is the shot. It's a secure shot, heavy topspin. The ball's going to arc up and over, as opposed to some of the flatter shots. Just don't have quite as nice of a view of the table as they come over.
Net 3-2.
It seemed like IVANCAN was trying to go for the backhand earlier on in this point. Take the table. She served from the forehand side. Didn't want to get stuck with loops coming out to her forehand.
But let's say she dropped a few percentage right now. Ivancan just goes a little bit down in her game, but most of that is because Park is putting a better quality first shot on the table. So that creates all this, hesitation from a defender, because the first shot is more difficult. So I have to work more to get that over, and then that creates a little bit of pressure.
Right, you got the defensive player who's just served right at the table, not quite into a rhythm yet. I thought Park was out of the point as soon as she decided to play a push off deep in the backhand corner.
Yeah. But like she read, Ivancan also read that perfectly. That is almost, as you said, a signature shot, a sliding shot with a lot of side spin. And obviously Park hesitated whether to go and step around the corner and take a front toe spin, and then, yeah, whatever happened.
Right. Yeah, and I think that shot, while it can be quite effective, my worst memory of it, at least, well, the most interesting memory, Simone Gauzy used it a few times in a match that he lost when it was really clutch. It was a Game 5. I believe it was against Sweden. It might have been Matthias Carlsen.
Exactly, yeah. We were talking about that, you and me, and said, when do you take that shot? It seemed like, but this is almost better quality on that sliding back, and I don't know what to call that, though. Do you have anything in mind?
Well, I mean, you could go with something fancy like, caviar on crackers, or you could make it more of a easy to read, sort of the swiping side spin backhand receive.
That's it. We have to stick to
table tennis terminology.
Yeah, no, I believe that would be the best.
No, I'm a fan of that as well. Make it clear for people. I think it also a lot has to do with who's on the other side of the table. For Gauzy, he had, Matthias Carlsen there to loop, and the power he had and the extra time he had with that was very good. But it's also a left-handed player versus a right-handed player. So with Ivancan, when she does that shot, it's going to be into the body and into the backhand. She doesn't have to be concerned about a ripping forehand, even if Park has the forehand that Matthias Carlsen has.
Yeah, exactly.
Timeout seemed to be effective so far.
I've seen a few of those, though. She saw right into the net before also, if I remember correctly.
First serve of the game. That's unfortunate. Ivancan had her choosing for where she wanted to go with that ball. Gonna have to put it behind her, though.
Most of for her is, the focus. Like, it seems like she's either thinking too much, or like let her very sharp mind drift away from the match now a little bit. She had this in her pocket, in my opinion. And you lose a little bit of that concentration. It doesn't come back to you automatically.
And there was that backhand swiping side spin receive we saw. And this time the timeout's quickly called. It's Coach Shep who's going to be talking to Ivancan. But yeah, we were just talking about how the forehand attack that comes off of that receive can be quite threatening when it's a right-handed player, because it's breaking out to the forehand. And usually, if done properly, there's going to be an element of surprise. The player might be stepping around and burned on the forehand side. And that last shot, Park Youngsook was so quick to turn the backhand corner that she managed to make a quite threatening forehand attack off of that side-swiping receive. The one point that we talked about, I brought up that Ivancan was serving from far to the forehand, trying to favor the backhand, cover most of the table with it. Park Youngsook took advantage of that and played it to the wide backhand, created a little bit of a gap on the table. So I think Ivancan's going to have to be pretty clever with their serves here and their placement of the receives to get into the rally.
Couldn't agree more with you, Mr. Bobo. You put it right on the nail.
All right.
You hit it right on the nail, I should say.
Perfect. That's one strategy.
Can I help you sometimes?
But the truth is, that serve wasn't a magical serve. It was fast and long, but not very fast. It wasn't surprisingly fast or long. Ivancan had a comfortable floating chop back.
That was perfectly set up, the service position from forehand with backhand, serve down the line, wanted her to start exactly on that point. ball, where she also got good quality underspin.
Now with that wingspan comes a whole lot of racket speed when you can get a full stroke on it. It's a few forehand attacks that we've seen go out. I mean, IVANCAN really earned the shot there.
That's forcing it a little bit. You see that smooth move she had in the beginning. It's hard to say, but like then what's that?
She's tensed up.
Tensed up a little bit on that attack.
Could be the pressure. Yeah, looser arm definitely moves faster. It's, I guess, the difference between a stick and a whip. Right? I mean, that's the most clear example I can think of. This is why IVANCAN's going to have her arm whip-like so that she can really just brush under and really keep the spin on.
Hello world, that's pretty brilliant. The whip and the stick.
Smart play, that inside-out forehand, wide to the forehand side. Park Youngsook's feet are really moving now. And with her feet, the hand is absolutely putting some pressure on the shot. I love how she just fans inside that ball for the inside-out forehand. Just enough deception there to get it out of reach of the biggest wingspan in the women's game. This time she takes it. The third time's a charm for IVANCAN. And that was a big point to take it on, too. Again, you've got two teammates right now staying warm, staying ready, but really hoping that they don't have to play another match for Germany. Tied back up at 9 points each. And now Park's got the serves to take the game. We've seen a few serves deep into the backhand side, down the line for IVANCAN. I'm just trying to recall how many points she won. I remember one good setup from that serve. There it is, the forehand has been trouble. When she goes inside out, IVANCAN has not been able to fish it back many times. This is the left-handed advantage being used here. The big step around inside out, full body commitment. That's how she's won her last few points.
Good footwork there also, like moving all the way over. And got perfectly, positioned. Her feet were planted also in the shot, got that leg strength behind and core strength and everything that needed to put it on table with power.
And honestly, if she hadn't moved that much, I don't think she would have had the opportunity to get that last ball. Footwork earning her game point. Oh, and it goes long. Just missed the loop. Soft hands of IVANCAN, leaving it short enough on the table to cause a traffic jam at the back line. Look at this one more time. Very soft shot. Park didn't really have the room she wanted for that fast forehand loop.
I feel it sometimes she wants to somehow to attack the ball right away, IVANCAN in this kind of situation. No.
The percentages, if we were to break it down, the statistics were to come out, I think the forehand fishing shot is one of the lowest percentage shots right now in the match for IVANCAN.
Hesitating was a little bit on forehand. In the beginning, that was almost a top spin. She had the time there, so just I thought, but just hesitated just a little bit.
And this time a bit more underspin on the swiping side spin receive. You know, a lot of players have this now in the chopping game. There are a few that you don't see chop much from their forehand. Jonis, just occasionally a forehand chop, but I can't remember how many times. I mean, not many, if any, chops on the forehand from IVANCAN.
I was calling for that backhand service again. Last time she put it side over spin. No, there's a different...
She heard you say that. You can't tell me what to do, Michael.
No, exactly. That was a good choice.
And the placement was just right. There was a kick on it, and it was right at the back of the table. Park pretty much handcuffed with opportunities. This is the beauty of a half-long serve. That one looked to come even longer from that angle. Just a little bit into the body, a little bit of side spin to help it bend. And now match point for IVANCAN on the receive. There it is, the backhand takes it, the heavy chop, and IVANCAN coming in clutch in the third. And a happy Germany. I'm sure we're going to get to see the face of Richard Prauza. There he is on his feet with the rest of the association. Irene IVANCAN taking it 3-1 after losing 11-2 in the third. What a mental turnaround and real mental strength from the brainiac, the largely winged chopper, the threat of many sorts, Irene IVANCAN, world rank number 44 at 32 years old. Germany will be moving on to play Japan, whom they've already beaten in this tournament, Michael.
Yeah, what a matchup that will be, though, with all the Japanese. And I listened in to our colleagues from TV Tokyo yesterday commenting to that match. That was something else.
Wow, I was sitting right in the middle. I was sitting right in the middle of the Japanese sea of coaches, and that was probably the loudest cheering section I've ever been in. I mean, there was some real team spirit there, and even with all that support and the top 3 Japanese players, Germany managed to pull through. And right there, Christine Silbereisen, I would not be surprised, the blonde short hair, to see her playing against Japan. And that might be happening later today, is that right?
That could be right. Don't ask me, ask someone who's making the schedule for this tournament. But
Sounds good.
Anyway, we have something to look forward to, and that's going to be an exciting match.
Absolutely.